Hello and welcome back to the She is Courageous podcast. I want to start with a question. Have you ever been in a meeting or a networking event where you've had something that you believe is really valuable to say, but instead of speaking up, you've hesitated, you've started to think that you don't want to, you hear the voice literally in your head, I don't want to sound too pushy. What if they don't agree with what I'm about to say? What if they think? And then someone else says pretty much exactly what you were thinking. Or they start their own conversation. They take the conversation in a different direction. And you are left thinking, I wish I'd. Or have you said yes to a client, a project, a commitment of some sort when deep down you knew you didn't have the capacity. You knew you didn't really want to do that thing, but you didn't want to seem difficult or let anyone down. Now, if you're anything like me, you are nodding a little bit right now. I'm actually not nodding, but when I was writing my notes for today and thinking about what I wanted to talk about and started to think about those scenarios, not wanting to sound pushy, wondering if they'll agree, then someone else says exactly what I was thinking or someone else says what they are thinking, saying yes to things when I didn't have the capacity but I didn't want to seem difficult. I know I'm not alone in that. I know that many, many ambitious women are subconsciously stuck in what we call the good girl trap. We have been taught, I'm going to make some really cliched general statements, but we have been taught for generations that being agreeable, being accommodating, being nice will get us ahead. Actually, worse than that, many of us have learned that anything else makes us, inverted commas, I do that a lot, don't I, bitches. That, not being nice is absolutely not the done thing. And particularly as women, that not nice women are, quite frankly, bitches. And bitches aren't a good thing. Now, the reason I wanted to do today's episode, I want to talk about this good girl stuff. Because like everything, there is a really fine line. And I believe that truthfully, this good girl trap, this being a good girl that we've got subconsciously playing out is keeping us playing small. So today in this episode, I want to talk about breaking that cycle. I want to talk about stopping waiting for permission to take up space in our businesses, in our lives, in this world. I want to talk about the good girl conditioning and how we let go of it. Now, I think we all know where most of it comes from. I talk about this all the time. I talk about childhood messaging. I talk about societal norms. I talk about the beliefs that creates for us. And I'm going to I want to keep this swift. I always say that. These are not hour-long episodes. They're not multiple hours long episodes. This is short, sharp, get you thinking. So some of what I say is a little bit generalist. It can be a little bit sweeping statements, but I just want to probe that thought process with you. If you think about childhood messages that you have grown up to learn to believe, if you think about societal norms, really generalistic societal norms, here's what happens. Girls are encouraged and praised for being helpful and well-behaved. Big statement there, okay? There's a lot more underneath this. But generally speaking, and I know that we're living in a world now where we are absolutely seeing the male generation encouraged to tap into their sensitive side, to be more thoughtful. We all want that, don't we, girls? Okay? But there are years and years of conditioning where girls are be helpful, be well behaved, seen and not heard. Boys, generally speaking, have childhood messaging and a lot of societal norm around, being brave, taking charge of the situation, be a man. We grow up hearing, be nice, don't be bossy, let others have a turn. Children should be seen and not heard, and that I know can work across both genders, okay? And I'm not playing the gender card here, but I am talking about good girl messaging, good girl subconscious beliefs. So many people I know have been rewarded for being good students, for following the rules. But there is this underlying piece. There is so much early conditioning for women around being a good girl, about playing nice, about looking after others, about doing for others before they do for themselves, about hanging back a little bit, about kind of letting the boys step forward, about letting men take the charge. And I really believe this is starting to change, but we have a very, very long way to go. And of course, how does this play out? Now look, like everything I do, this is the She is Courageous podcast. This is absolutely aimed at the ladies. But I do know there are some gents that listen to this. And I am not saying this stuff doesn't come through for good boy stuff too. But I see far more of it. There's loads and loads of research. There's loads and loads of examples of more of the good girl status playing out, and not in the way that we want it to. We see women constantly over-apologising when we haven't done anything wrong. I did an episode on this recently. It's actually one of the most listened to episodes I've released so far. It really struck home for so many people. I got so many messages. I'll put a link in the show notes if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Over-apologising is a huge good girl mindset in action. We see people kind of dampening down their opinions. We talk about this a lot online. You know, there's a whole piece when we're running our businesses, we need to be seen online, but we worry about being really vocal online because we want to be liked. Because what do we have rammed down our throat? Got to be known, liked and trusted to build your business, and you have. But that doesn't mean kind of softening what you've got to say to be more likable. We've still got to be who we are. We see women far more often than men hesitating to raise prices because they're worried that clients will think that they're being greedy, because good girls aren't greedy. We see women taking on extra work, saying yes to things, not speaking up when they need help because actually they don't want to seem difficult. And I see far too many women second guessing themselves constantly, even when they are, and know they are, more than qualified, more than experienced, more than capable of doing what they're there to do. But that good girl mindset, that is deep rooted, and it all comes at a cost. Because the real problem with constantly trying to be a good girl, with constantly trying to be agreeable, is that what it starts to do is it trains other people, without you even realising, it trains other people to expect less of you. It trains other people to expect you to be good. It trains other people to expect you to be good to them, for them. And that mindset, you playing out that mindset, can only lead to burnout, undercharging, undervaluing your work, being afraid to ask for opportunities, missing opportunities because of holding back from taking up your space in this world. We've got to break the cycle of the good girl status. Let me know. If any of this is resonating for you, I would love you to let me know. Do you think that actually you're still playing good girl? Because I'll be honest, I definitely do. I'm the eldest of 4 girls. I definitely grew up in a world of having to lead by example. You've got to set a good example to your sisters. Oh, as I've just said it, I can literally hear it. You've got to be a good girl because your sisters are watching. Now, I don't know how that's playing out because I've only just literally had that come up for me as I'm talking to you right now. But what if sometimes that's playing out for me in terms of the example I'm setting? You know, I'm a coach, actually, as I'm saying this, I think it does. You know, I do think about how I position myself online, how I message sometimes, because I want to set a really good example. Is that good girl holding me back? Am I still playing a little bit small? So how do we break the cycle? Okay, because that's what this is all about. And You know, I'm all about giving you some stuff to think about and some really practical tips. Now, as I said, I recorded an episode recently on the apologising, stop saying sorry. This is a really important one, and the good girl label really plays out in over-apologising. We do it all the time. And this, you know, I talked about in the previous episode, I talked about apologising to inanimate objects because that's how much we over-apologise. But this is more about, you know, apologising for asking a question, apologising for being late. Because ultimately what we're saying is, I've not been a good girl, or it's bad if I. So we over-apologise because we want to be seen to be good. But we've got to stop this. We've got to stop this over-apologising in absolutely everything, okay? And I'm just going to keep this really simple. The key to stopping over-apologising is to notice if you are pre-positioning your requests, pre-positioning your statements with sorry. Just start to really pay attention and actually shift the wording. See if you can let go of it. You know, sorry, can I ask a question? Or actually just try, hey, could I ask you a question? Sorry, I'm late. Thanks for waiting. So I want you to really notice this whole sorry piece, because actually, are you playing small by apologising? Are you using that apology to bring you back? So the first thing to break the cycle of good girl is stop over apologising. The second tip is actually to be really courageous. This is the She Is Courageous podcast, but to be courageous and really think about where can you speak first, and speak clearly. Like speak with, I'm not going to say speak with confidence because that's not so easily done, but speak clearly, own what you want to say. Because here's what good girls do. They wait to speak until everybody else has spoken. They constantly let everyone else go first. And I'm not saying be rude, by the way. I'm saying be courageous, raise your hand, offer. That's not being rude, that's offering to go first. And don't wait for everybody else. I dare you to set yourself a personal challenge this week to be the first person to speak in some scenario. Because actually, everybody gets nervous about speaking first. It can be really inspirational for others to see someone go first. So stop the disclaimers, stop the caveats, stop holding back and speak first and speak clearly. Say what you mean with clarity and, if you can, a little bit of confidence. The third thing I want you to really think about is owning your achievements and without downplaying them. Because here's what we do, right? And women, we do this all the time. Ladies, why do we do this? We are not very good at accepting credit. So what we do is we go, oh, it was nothing. Or, maybe you've got a team. Oh, it was a team effort. And I love that, all right? I was all about my team in my corporate space. Absolutely all about giving credit to the people that deserve the credit. But it's okay to take a compliment for you and for your work. So accept the credit. Own your achievements. Hey, like if I was to go back to speak first, speak clearly, where are there opportunities to speak about your achievements? If someone compliments you in your work, thank them for it. Hey, be honest. If you worked really hard for it, tell them you worked really hard on that, so you really appreciate their compliment. Own your achievements and stop downplaying them, because that is good girl playing small. Now, this is a subject that comes up all the time, but I want to, in the context of good girl, saying no doesn't make you a bad girl, and saying no without over-explaining is really, really important, because here's what we do. We do this. We go, I'd love to, but I've got so much going on right now. I'm really sorry. So we play in the sorry. I'm going to have to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say that doesn't really work for me right now. There's no excuse, no justification. There's no downplaying of your no. It doesn't make you naughty. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you rude. You don't have to be a good girl when it comes to saying no. And my last let's break this good girl cycle is a really important one to all you business owners. And that is charge what you're worth and stop discounting yourself. I see so many women feeling guilty. Okay, I know that prices and charging can bring up loads and loads of stuff. This is specifically guilt. I see women who feel guilty for raising their prices or charging a certain amount for what they bring to the table, for their expertise. You are running a business. You have worked damn hard to be where you are, to do what you do, and to give the value that you give. So stop discounting. Stop being a good girl and charge what you're worth. Charge what you want to charge. Now, I know that this will come with all kinds of stuff. There's a money mindset episode if you want to go back to that. There's kind of really noticing what comes up for you and where does that tap into limiting beliefs. But this episode today is about how being good girls is holding us back, is having us play small, and I don't want you playing small. And if you are playing small when it comes to your charging, your pricing right now, I want you to really face into that and step up. And it doesn't make you, and I guess the big shift here is you do not need permission to take up space in this world, in your industry. It does not make you a bad girl if you are not a good girl. That space is waiting for you. It's already yours. You are not here to make everybody else feel comfortable. You are here to lead, to create, to grow, to bring what you bring to the world. So if you feel like, actually, I'm being a good girl, and I'm thinking as Shelley's talking about how I was told to, stay quiet, step back, let others go first, and maybe that's playing out for you right now, I want you to go, okay, it's okay. I have permission because I give myself permission to speak up, to step forward, to go first. I challenge you this week to just really pick one thing that would feel quite bold, that would feel like you're breaking out of the good girl cycle. Do you need to say no? Do you need to speak up? Do you need to set a boundary? Send me a message and let me know what's come up for you today. Where are you playing good girl and you don't want to? I'm going to say it again. Not playing good girl does not make you bad girl. Hey, by the way, if you want to go play bad girl, go for it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are embracing the bad girl status and doing very well out of it. Now, that's not my bag. That's okay. But I've realised through planning and prepping for this episode that actually there's some good girl stuff holding me back. Hey, you heard me, like literally come up in the moment as I'm talking. Where's good girl holding you back? Where is it time to let go of the good girl label and just be you? As always, thank you for listening to the She Is Courageous podcast. I absolutely love that I get to share this with you on a weekly basis. And I would be so grateful if you gave this podcast a follow, a share. I want to get into the ears of more incredible women and help them build a courageous mindset. And you can help me do that. And hey, if something did resonate from today's episode, please do drop me a message on any of the socials and let me know what it brought up for you, what it's got you thinking, and more importantly, what you're going to do to be courageous this week.